Tak więc z dużą przyjemnością teraz zapraszam, drodzy Państwo, na spotkanie z panem profesorem Simonem Dolanem, którego chciałbym serdecznie powitać. Simon,
Dzień dobry. I have to do it in English, and I have to go fast. Always for me it's a pleasure to be back in Poland. I just want to give one warning, actually two warnings. First, I'll do it very fast because I have a lot of content and I have only 30 minutes. But the good news is that I talked to Anna that organized the session, and if anyone is interested in my PowerPoint, please get in touch with her, and she will be very glad because there will be a couple of slides that I'll have to skip just because we don't have time. I will say that, you know, the second thing is a warning to you because it's going to be a little bit provocative what I'm going to say, and maybe some people here in the audience would like to hear whatever I'm going to say, and I'm going to start with some conclusion. I teach in SADE, it's a business school in Barcelona. We're considered to be one of the leading business schools in the world. But my message is that business schools that are even doing very well today are in danger, because in one of my slides you'll see in a few minutes that if we will not change the content and the methodology of whatever we do, about my projection is that in about 10 years, 50% of all business schools in the world worldwide will disappear. Okay? Now, this will be my conclusion. I'll try to convince you. The other warning that I want to give you is that I have to put my slide. The other warning I have to give you have to be very careful not to talk bad about me after my presentation, because until about 7 years old, I understood perfectly and I even spoke Polish. So I still understand Polish. So don't talk at the back of my back because it's dangerous. You know, I didn't practice it. I'm sure that if I live here a couple of months, you know, my Polish will come back. Okay? Dziękuję. My presentation is going to be actually very short because I'm a chair in a SADC that's called Future for Work. Actually, we look at the future. I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not a prophet, but I think one can extrapolate about what will happen in the future. And the future, it's not 20 years down the road. We're talking about 5 years and 10 years and so on and so forth. And a lot of people that live day to day, really, they are either blind or stupid. They don't see what's happening around them. And what happened is that the field of education is changing completely. What I'm trying to do at the end, I'm going to give you three ideas for innovation. I'm not saying that those are the markers, those are the innovation, what we call with capital T. But I think those are the ways to go if we still want to prepare people for the world of tomorrow. Because I'm very critical, even in my own school, I said that maybe at the best we prepare students for today's market. Certainly not for tomorrow. And still, many business schools are preparing students for yesterday's market. And the question is what is happening? And I think that we are living today what I call a paradigm change. Now, there is a lot of discussion about how paradigm change, what is the meaning of paradigm change. I think that we're in the midst of a revolution, and what is causing the revolution are something that with Professor Wright, that is right here, we wrote a book, it's called Beyond, and it was even published in Polish. And we talk about the convergence of digitalization, virtualization, and globalization that really is causing this kind of paradigm shift. And borrowing from concept of supply chain, I use just two concepts to show the difference, what was yesterday and what will happen tomorrow. How can we educate people for experiences that never had? And people will have to make decisions about new experiences. And the new experiences will keep on being novel all the time. So something needs to be done in order to prepare people to experience something they've never experienced. How do you do it? Well, I use the shift from a push to pull, and here there are a lot of information about the difference between push and pull, but basically push means that you use resources in advance to do some planning. So you know where you're heading, you do planning, you rehearse, everything works, and it works perfectly. But in education design, we used to design curricula to expose students to codified information in a predetermined sequence of experiences. It worked. It worked yesterday. It might not work tomorrow. Because today, students coming, and first of all they said, don't give me information. I don't need information from you as a teacher. I can go to the tablet, I can go to Wikipedia, I can go. What I need to be trained in being what I call resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is the key. Is the competency to identify a problem and to find out how to resolve the problem. How to set the alliance. How to get the right people. Not necessarily to have the information. How to get the information that you need. And this is what POOL is all about. They seek to expand opportunity for creating by local participation dealing with immediate needs, that emerge today. And that's what we need. There is I'm going through very fast through this because I don't have time. As I said, I want to concentrate on my last 4 slides. Those are some of the difference between push program and pull program. And you can see, that we live, make decisions in a time of high level of uncertainty. I would say almost chaotic, and this will not change. There is some ideas about the old and new paradigms in business education. And obviously, the implication students are learning, the question is, do we teach students sufficiently? Is the content adequate to the market needs of tomorrow, not today? And what type of methodology are we using? Today, we have to capture student attention, and we cannot keep on using the old model, and the old model doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. So, what I'm trying to share with you is that education is the cyber age. Whether we like technology, whether we dislike technology, but you cannot ignore technology. And ignoring technology means that you're going to lose. And keeping up with technology, it's a very tiring process because the moment you master a technology, a new version is coming. So you're in a continuing learning process. You have to de-learn, relearn, de-learn, relearn, and you have to do it almost on a weekly basis. There are a couple of general features here in the cyber age. We're talking about continuous progress, personal learning plans, which is customized, person-based assessment. You need to know also instantly how well you're doing, and so on and so forth. Again, I want just to concentrate on one word that I don't know if it exists in Polish. I went a little bit too fast. Okay. In my presentation. And this is resourcefulness. So resourcefulness is here. This is what I feel. In business school, we are still spending too much time on information. We are spending too much time in preparing people, in giving them what we call hard skills. Now, hard skills are easier to teach, I have to tell you. It's easier to teach marketing and accounting and finance than teaching, how to lead, how to make decisions, how to be innovative. But those are the kind of skills that the market will need tomorrow. You can find out what is the latest trick or technique in marketing. It's not a big deal, okay? So what I'm trying to show you, I just selected some revolution, and this is one thing that I found on the net. I really like it. It says that 2 things, okay? That 1 degree from every 10 degrees is going to be online, on online platform. So the platforms are going to become very powerful tool. And also, the 50% of all university will be closed by 2028. I think it's going to happen even earlier, okay? This is my prediction. Now, here are a couple of surveys about what the market wants. And what I marked here at the top, look how the market the students, the business students, look for more soft skills rather than the traditional hard skills. They want programs that will help them in their professional development. They want to develop personally. Personal development, not what is going to be instrumental, to career, to job, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is the reason. What are the expectations? The same thing. They want to learn some new knowledge, understanding, and skills. They want to networking. Today, networking, and networking you can do physically or virtually. So I don't have to tell you that a lot of things will become obsolete by 2020. Desks, computers, tablets we're using today, instructions are going to be very differential, campuses are going to be virtual campuses, certainly those that use virtual learning. And an idea that really impressed me is a young guy that doesn't even have a PhD, and he's teaching on a daily basis more people than any professor in any large university. Okay? Those are the kind of educators in country. I'm talking about business, okay? The moves that are developing, and still we don't know what shape they will take, and we think it's very stupid on the part of some of the biggest schools, such as Harvard, Stanford, and Duke, and Yale, and Harvard, to offer it free. No, it's a different business model. The business model is changing, okay? And they understand that without it, they're going to lose ground, okay? So, what I'm trying to tell you, I'm going to share with you in the 15 minutes I have left, 3 experiments that we are running right now in innovation education. One of them is trying to get to a larger market, but you do it from your house. Those are platforms that you teach, and it's a blended teaching. It can involve videos, it can involve it, but I think the people that I'm involved with did a much better job. In a 2 minutes video, they'll tell you a little bit about the platform. It's not the only platform. There are many other platforms. Now it's not working. It worked just a second ago. Sorry about it. Those are technology problems. We didn't have this problem when we tried it just a minute ago. But you know what? I'm going to show you this directly so that we're not going to lose it. Just take 2 seconds to show you some new platform. Now, what we did in this platform, something very intelligent. We offered the platform last year, free. And within 3 months, we got 138 universities in 33 countries in the world to adopt it. Now, we're offering them the same program with a very symbolic fee. And when we're going to add more content, we're going to increase the fee. It's a different business model. Okay? Now, it's a platform that allows students to monitor his progress, allows the professor to find out some of his teaching on the online. We know exactly where students are in terms of the learning. This was born about 3 or 4 years ago when one of my doctoral students told me that his brother is a PhD in IT, his father is also a professor. I told the family, get no business, do a startup. They got some seed money, and now they're developing it, and it's developing very, very fast. All my new books, by the way, I'm developing with this platform, okay? So, and obviously, I'm not the only one because we have a whole range. What will happen to this, I don't know. Talk to me, invite me again to another conference 10 years from now. I'll tell you what happens. It's one of the experiments that I wanted to share with you. So, I can teach in dance. I don't have to come to dance. I can be in my office. I can be in my house and teach here in dance.
virtual professorship is going to be the role of the game. And you can get some of the best professors in the world to come to the most remote places on Earth. Okay. This is Chad, by the way. This is Laura, she's director of MBA in INNO3city. And this is one thing that I want to share with you. We're also running two other experiments, okay? And I'm going, to one of them is a class that I teach in INNO3city in MSc, and it's called Managing People Virtually. And it's another form of blended learning. It's another formula. What we do, you need to understand only one thing. A professor needs to become facilitator. Now, we can still blend it with traditional teaching. But if it's going to be only traditional teaching, you will not get students' attention. So what we do blending. In this case, we came up with a consortium of about half a dozen universities worldwide, and there is a lot of logistics to it. But for 1 month, students need to work virtually on a project with 4 or 5 students in other places in the world. They have the same task. They have to overcome language problem barrier, culture barrier, time zone barrier, and so on. That's their problem. We don't tell them how to do it. That's your problem. Be resourceful. And they have to deliver 1 month. They have to deliver. We even don't tell them who's going to lead the project. When the project begins, normally it's in early October, my name comes very often, and they don't use very academic terms. When you have to wake up at 4 in the morning because you're calling in Hong Kong, But when the project ends up, they stand in line to hug me because they understood this was a very, very, very effective tools of learning. Because the class is called Managing People Globally. And how do you manage globally when you do everything locally? You have to give the students the exposure for globally. So this is one project. Another project we're doing right now with Creapolis, and here we have for another project 2 witnesses, and they can say if I'm just telling you some fairy tales or this is true what I'm telling you. Because we're in the midst of the second time, it's called a class, it's called ALCP, or Action Learning and Consulting Project. I do not believe in case studies. It's true, I was not trained in Harvard. I'm not Harvard trained. I was, my PhD is from Minnesota, and so on and so forth. But cases today are very static. They are meaningless because the likelihood that the same case will happen again in the future is close to 0. So what we tell the students, let's have real case with real company. We have a big startup and innovation hub in INNO3city. They open the door and they're in the world of business. Now logistics, and I can tell you because 2 people that are here are responsible for logistics. This is the INNO3city Creapolis. To get companies to participate, it's not easy. They have to recruit them. So companies don't have problems because I'm a psychologist. We don't call them problems, we call them challenges. It's more positive. We psychologists come to the help of managers. Today we don't fire people. Psychology, it's much more positive. To be hired than to fire people. So we call them challenges, and they participate. This is a mandatory class. I can tell you students are fighting to be in the program. We don't accept anyone. When they start to compete with each other, they have to create their own group. We match them with companies. They don't know which company. They only know the sector, they know the size of the company, and the type of challenge. It could be a challenge in marketing, in strategy, in finance, in HR, in innovation, whatever. So this is what we're doing in the Action Learning Program, and I can tell you it became one of the flagship. I met, surprisingly, a couple of students in our MBA. They told me, I came to INNO3city because I heard about this program. This is the reason, I came to the MBA here. So I want to wrap up because I told the moderator that I'm very disciplined, and I'll try to discipline myself. I want to thank you for the invitation. I have a lot of things to say because, when you're involved in the future of work, you're digging into the future, and yet involved in some experiments in education that later and are part part of what I call the future, it's very exciting. It's exciting for me as someone that is innovating. People do not innovate because they have a fear of failing. Fortunately for me, I can afford to fail because I'm old. But we can afford to fail. But if you don't, innovation is all about trying different. I always use the metaphor of the pendulum when I talk about innovation. If you move the pendulum a little bit, you innovate a little bit, you don't take a risk. When you start, to move the pendulum very swiftly, if you can imagine the distance between sheer innovation and stupidity is very close. So you have to take the risk. Dziękuję bardzo. Okay? Thank you. Okay?
Dziękuję bardzo panu profesorowi, dziękujemy bardzo.